All right, here we go. Is your inner child running the show? Yeah, it's something. Right, here we go. It's something really that we need to pay attention to. Why? Because here's what happens if your inner child is running the show. Number one, you feel like you're going to have a meltdown if plans change. Others, you feel like others are out to get you. You have the sense of needing to control things. You're a people pleaser. Last time you checked, you had no boundaries, and things are feeling a little bit not under your control. You try to be controlling, but it doesn't actually work. So here's what we're going to do today. We're really going to talk about the opportunity to take care of this little one, because that little one loves you and wants to be loved. And in the loving of you and the taking care of that little one, we start to see remarkable shifts, because childhood's challenging. And each one of us has gone through experiences where we're looking at rejection or feelings of abandonment. And even if we had really great parents who were attentive, there are going to be times where things didn't go the way that you needed or wanted it to go. And so that's what we're going to focus on today. Hi, everybody. My name is Salima, yoga therapist. If you're coming in from Instagram, yay, you found me. And if you've been here on my channel for a while, yay, welcome back. This is an opportunity to explore together and also to get to know each other a little bit more. So, as we're preparing and getting ready for this experience, if you could say hello in the comments, let me know where you're coming in from. Did you find me on Instagram? Did you find me on YouTube? Where did you find me? And I'd love to know that as we start to warm up our conversation. So, from Amanda, so excited to be able to catch a live. Yay! Timing works out. I always think about that as alignment. I had a client who told me this. It's not just lighting, it's it's timing and lighting. So she would always say that, and I think it's so true, right? The moment you're supposed to catch it is the moment where the timing and the lighting is perfect. So, yay. Thank you, Amanda. Thanks for being here. And for those of you who have joined into the call, drop some hearts, drop some comments. And I want to offer you a few things to think about as we move into this practice together. So, here's what we're going to do. We'll do a little bit of warm up. So we're move the body a little bit to start to make the meditation a little easier to connect with. We'll do a little bit of breath work. And before all of that, we'll reflect. What is the inner child all about? I'll explain where it comes into your healing journey. And then we'll do our practice, a full feature-length meditation. And then after that, we'll do a little bit of community gathering. In other words, I want to know how your experience was. What questions do you have about Kundalini Yoga? What's on your mind these days? And how can I help you as you go into those places? Remember that this is going to be live for 24 hours, and then I move it into Harmony Within. And if you want to know about Harmony Within, you can check the description box. There's links there that will take you over to Harmony Within, which is nervous system healing using Kundalini Yoga and live conversation. So a really great membership portal and a great way to get to know people also in the healing journey. So I'm going to see who's checked in here. From Nicole, hello. At work, we'll have to catch the replay. Okay, your inner child needs this. How good that you know that, and how good that you can come back and we can reflect together. So thank you, Peggy from California. Yes. Hey, everybody. Okay, so let's start with some intro questions, and then we'll build into our practice. And I'll explain a little bit more about why it's important to pay attention to your inner child, to really recognize and honor that particular, I want to say persona, but it's actually a survival technique. And we're naming it as an inner child. And in a little bit, you'll come to see why that's an appropriate name. Okay, so think about this, and you can reflect using a journal, or maybe for a moment, just sit with the question. When was the last time you felt too much? or not enough? And what did you need in that moment? And can you remember a time where you had somebody tell you or an environment indicate to you that you needed to be a little smaller or be a little quieter or stand to the back? Think about those kind of experiences. What would your inner child what would they loved in those circumstances? And number 5 is, are you ready to do a little bit of work so that we can peel the onion, open the can of worms safely, lovingly, curiously, so that we can have a little bit more information to work with. Okay. So, as you listen in on this experience, let's start by doing a little bit of movement. Okay. So, we're going to combine movement with some learning. It's a good way to take in information is to be moving your body at the same time. Whenever I go for walks, I'm always listening to a podcast. I find that I remember things better when I'm moving. So inhaling, bringing the shoulders all the way up, and exhaling as you roll your shoulders all the way down. If you're seated on the ground, that's great. If you're on a chair, in the car, eating your lunch, you can do this. Inhaling as you come up and exhaling as you go down. I find that we hold a lot of tension in the shoulders. So I always want to make sure that we pay attention to this part of the body. When the shoulders are tense, we're also holding on to the energy in our heart space. And so we want to offer ourselves a little bit of time to get out of there. Inhaling as you come up and exhaling as you go down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Good. And now let's go in the opposite direction. Same exercise, but opposite direction. Inhaling as you come up, exhaling as you go down. Welcome to all who are joining in now. We're talking about inner child healing using Kundalini Yoga. What are the things that we need to pay attention to? Why is it important to explore what your inner child is holding, and a technique to help us to really tap into that energy and to release some of it? Okay, last 2 and last 1. Good. Do a little bit more now. This time we're moving the hands at the same time. So as if you were rowing, we want to open up the chest and the heart. We're focusing on the shoulders in today's meditation, so that's why spending a little bit more time here would be really helpful. Okay, so my hands are in fists. I'm just opening that up. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Okay. Now moving one at a time. So we started off with shoulder shrugs. Now here, offering a little bit more movement. Good. Last 2 and last 1. Okay, now together. So part of what happens here in the shoulders is that, remember in grade school, we learned that all of this is connected. So it's not possible for us to have tight shoulders without all of this stuff compensating. So here we're going to take a little bit of an inhale and exhale. Inhale, so deepening the breath, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now you just go at your own pace. If you find you need to move a little slower, you have more restriction, then please go ahead. I'm just moving at a moderate pace. You can go faster, you can go slower. If you're a fast-paced type of person, I always recommend you slow things down. If you tend to move slowly, then I'd always recommend moving a little faster. And this is changing up the rhythm of our bodies. We're used to doing certain things. Very simple ways that we can move out of our comfort zone is just changing the pace and the tone of how we do things. Okay, last 2. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Good. So if you are seated on the floor or on the couch, here's the next place we're going to go. So bring your hands down next to you. So I'm going to put my left hand here on my desk, and with the right arm, I'm going to come all the way up and over and just going from side to side, giving ourselves a little bit of time to relax, inhaling as you move the hand over the top of your body and exhaling as you go down. Now, if you find that your shoulders are restricted, this is not in your range of motion, you can come down a little bit lower. You can come down a little bit lower. You can come down a little bit lower. So find the place that works best for you and adapt the practice to your body rather than adapting yourself to the practice. I think as we engage in yoga over the course of our lifetimes, naturally things will change. And if you're approaching yoga now when you're a little bit less mobile, or maybe you're a little bit younger and you're learning how to pay attention to how your body works, yoga is an incredible way to do that. And it's not a fast fix necessarily, but it is an exploration, which means every day the answer shifts just a little bit. Good. Last two. And last one. And relax. Take a moment and shake out your hands here. Shake out your hands. Good. Bring your hands onto your waist. If you're standing like I am, or you're sitting if you're sitting in a chair, then you can bring your hands down to your thighs or grab onto the sides of the chair. If you're sitting or standing like I am, then you can start to make open circles. This is called Sufi grinds, inhaling as you come forward, exhaling as you go back. A few things to think about with your inner child. Why is this even a thing? Why is it important? And let's start with some basics. That over the course of our lifetime, maybe you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, 60s, maybe older, there are moments in time that get frozen. And they get frozen in our minds because there was some kind of trauma, some kind of need that was overlooked, or a need that was not addressed for a really long time. So trauma is too much too soon, or too little for too long. And that's a good definition of what it feels like. And some of that happened when we were young. And so there are very young parts of ourselves that react to situations where there's rejection or abandonment or a feeling of separation or isolation or loneliness. And that's the part of you, part of all of us, that's showing up sometimes in conversations with our partners, with our kids, at work, in the grocery store, when we're driving. That person, that little younger version of us is showing up because they need something. And that's what we're having the opportunity to address. Okay, so now take a deep inhale, come to center, and then exhale, move in the opposite direction. And that's where we want to really focus in on, is the voice of that inner child. And that inner child could be young, like a baby, could be in their toddler stage, could be in their elementary school age, could be almost a teenager. There's no age limitation there. Now we're focusing on the inner child. There are other survival archetypes, and those archetypes are the prostitute, the healer, and there's one more, which I've forgotten right now. My apologies. But they're very interesting, and each one of them has a different way of operating in the world, a different method of connecting or not connecting. And today we're going to focus on that inner child. If you'd like to know the other archetypes, drop me a comment below. I'll let you know who they are and how they are. And maybe we'll do another session so that you can get to know all of these different types. Good. Inhale very deeply. Come to center. and exhale. Okay, let's tune in now. In Kundalini Yoga, there's a formula for settling into the practice. And there are also a lot of techniques. I have short techniques that I show often, and you'll see a lot of those on Instagram. You'll see that on YouTube Shorts, a minute or less, and you can come into emotional regulation. This session today is a little bit longer, and we're going to go through a full meditation. And the meditation is five minutes. And in there, we're going to go through a journey. And I'm going to show you all the different components of Kundalini Yoga, how it works, and then give you an experience of what this practice is like. And this is a practice that's changed my life, and I'll be very candid with you about that. I'm very sure I wouldn't be here in front of you had I not come across this practice and felt really drawn in. So I want to offer that same idea to you too, that there's something here. If you made it for the live, there's something here for you. Okay. We're tuning in, we're using a mantra, sound vibration now. And the sound is Ong Namo, Gurudev Namo. I bow to the teacher within. I call in my highest consciousness. So we're taking a few breaths here to contain ourselves, to bring in the prana, the life force, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And now we tune in. Om Gurudev Namo. Om Namo. Gurudev Namo. Last one. Om Namo. Gurudev Namo. And exhale. Amazing. All right. So that mantra, I bow to the teacher within, I call in my highest consciousness. This is in the sacred language of Gurmukhi. It is an ancient way of calling the infinite into the finite, that's us, and an opportunity to vibrate in a different frequency so that we can feel into the truth, to our authentic experience. And that's the meaning and significance of this mantra. It starts every Kundalini Yoga practice, and as you learn how to chant it and as you feel it in your body, you can feel very connected very quickly. Okay. Where is my there's a cat making lots of noise behind me. I hope it doesn't distract you. All right, let's go. Here is the mudra. We're going to use a breathing technique, and we're going to use a mudra. So actually, let me just start with a breathing technique. I'm going to make an O-shaped mouth. Close the mouth, exhale nose. Inhale mouth. And exhale nose. Okay, so what you'll notice right away is that this is a cooling breath. It's really good for taking the heat off the body. So this could be literal heat. You're feeling heat inside your body. Number two, it could be very nicely used for inflammation. Number three, indigestion. So you have some kind of heat in your belly, feeling a little stomach burn, stomach rot, that kind of feeling. And also for fever. So there's lots of different applications for this particular cooling breath. And in yogic realms, this breathing technique is for cooling. So that's what we're using it for. Now, here's the mudra. I'm going to take the bottom two fingers, so the pinky and the ring finger, and hold that down with your thumbs. Good. And so that means the pointer finger and the middle finger are pointing upwards. And here we're going to expand the arms. So palm is staying facing forward, so towards the screen, however way you're watching, towards the screen. And then relaxing your shoulders and keeping your arms extended out with this breathing technique. While you're breathing, I'm going to offer you a visualization, a guided meditation, and a way to experience your inner child. And then at the end, I'll give you some ways that you can comfort your inner child. You can talk to them, create a dialogue, and journal out what you experienced. Okay, so let's get into position now. You're sitting comfortably, relaxed, supported maybe. You've got a cushion underneath your buttocks so that you can hold your seated posture. Your spine is straight. Okay, remember the breathing technique is through the mouth, inhaling through the mouth, exhaling nose. And here is the mudra extended all the way out. Here's option number one, straight out. Option number two, option number three, option number four. Lots of different options. Please use the one that works best. Here, we're going to all start in this fully expanded version. I'm going to hold here, and then we're going to take our options as we get a little further along when you need it. Okay. Eyes are closed, focusing in between, on the tip of your nose. Inhale through the mouth. Close the mouth, exhale nose. Good. So you keep going. Hold the arms where you can safely, and it's going to cause a little bit of pain and discomfort. Don't shy too much away from that. And at the same time, just noting where you can hold and where it feels discomfort, and then switching when you need to. As you hold this posture steady and you keep your breath working, let me offer you visualization so that you can connect with this inner being, this inner child of yours, sweet, tender, loving, adorable part of you. Closing your eyes and keep on breathing through the mouth, inhaling through the mouth and exhaling through the nose, keeping your arms up best you can. Imagine yourself in an open field. The sky is starting to get a little darker. The sun is starting to set. The wind is picking up just a little bit. It's coming from the lake further, a few miles away. And you know that it's time to go inside. You pull your jacket around you a little bit tighter, it's getting cooler. And in the distance, you notice there is a cabin. And the cabin has a winding path leading up to the front door. And there are lights on inside. And you have a very distinct feeling that whoever's inside is waiting for you, and that it's safe, and that it's warm, and that you'll be greeted with love and attention, and exactly what you need to have a little pit stop in the middle of your walk. Slowly, you make your way to the front door. And as you make your way to the front door, you turn the handle. And as you turn the handle, you hear a whole bunch of footsteps, little footsteps running around. Excitement, anticipation, exuberance. And as you open the door, you notice 5 different versions of you in your younger self. You go in and you look at all these beautiful little faces. looking at you with wide eyes and wonder and curiosity and familiarity. And they are adorable and they adore you. You quickly slip off your shoes and your jacket. Remember to keep breathing. Remember to hold your posture. And you go and you sit down on the couch. And one by one, these little versions of you come and sit down. The first one is two, crawls into your lap, looks into your eyes, and snuggles onto your lap. What do you notice about this little 2-year-old? Is it their hair or their complexion or the way their eyes move or the sound they're making? And then the 5-year-old, curiously sitting next to you, looking at your clothes, pulling on your shirt, pointing, laughing, drawing a little attention to themselves. What do you notice about this little one? What's the color of their hair? What kind of clothing are they wearing? And then your 7-year-old sitting on the other side, looking at you, kind of sizing you up, like, who are you? And at the same time, with a big smile on their face. What do you notice about this 7-year-old? What kind of curiosity do you see in their eyes? How tall are they? That's 3 of them. And now the 9-year-old, sitting a little bit further away. And this 9-year-old is sitting across from you, excited to hear what it is that you have to talk about, wanting to invite you in, wanting to ask you questions, wanting to be asked questions. And then your 11-year-old self. Your 11-year-old self brought you a glass of water, looking at you. And now they start to ask you questions. What's it like to be this age? And you answer them and you show them and you tell them about your life and you tell them about your day and you tell them who's in your life. Maybe you tell them about the kids you have now or the partner you have now or the puppy you have, or the kitten you have. And they all look at you with wide eyes and wonder, excited, curious. Remember to keep breathing. Keep your arms up best you can. Keep your spine straight, shoulders relaxed. And then all of a sudden, they're all talking. They're all excitedly asking you questions and telling you things and showing you things and leading you around the space. And they can't get their eyes off of you. And 1 or 2 of them are maybe a little bit more standoffish. And 1 or 2 of them can't get enough of you. Just take into consideration who's who, which one is which. Just noticing. And then after some time, you have shared your stories and assured them that everything is working out and you came to be at this age and you're alive and well in the world, and tell them a little bit about memories that you might have with them and explore with them. And then it's time to go. And they look at you and you look at them and you realize that you can't actually just leave them there. You all have to go together. So you gather up the troops, the kids, everybody pushes over each other to get their shoes on and their jackets on, and they're all holding on to different parts of you. Some of the older ones are looking after the younger ones, and you got your hands full holding everybody's hand, and you all decide to leave together. And as you leave, the sun is setting over this cottage. Lights go down, and you're laughing and you're giggling and you're all together. And then slowly the scene fades. Inhale very deeply and exhale completely. Inhale, hold the breath, keep your arms up best you can. And exhale. One more time, take a deep inhale. And exhale. And one last time. Inhale very deeply. And exhale completely. Relax now, let yourself sit with the encounter. Who did you notice? What did you notice? Did any of them stand out a little bit more? What age were they? And before we conclude, I want to offer you some ideas about what you can say to these little ones as they make their presence more known in your life. There are 5 of them. Number 1, you are enough. Number 2, how you feel is okay. Number 3, I admire you. Number 4, I will protect you. And number 5, I believe you. Press your palms together at the center of your chest. We're going to close the practice now, but our time together is not over. I want to hear, how was that experience for you? What did you notice? What did you experience? And then let's chat about your practice and how you can go a little deeper and a little bit more into this new discovery. So we close each Kundalini Yoga practice with a long sat, short nam. Inhale very deeply. Exhale completely. Inhale. Sa. Na. Sa. Na. Last one. Sa. Na. Please ground yourself. Bring your forehead and your palms to the ground. Or you can bring your fingertips to your forehead, grounding the energy of today's practice, locking in all of the sensation, everything that came to you as you experienced the meditation, the breath work, the visualization. Now let's talk about it. Thank you all for being here, for sitting so steady with all the experiences. If it's your first time with Kundalini Yoga, welcome. I always hope to offer you something that is juicy, tangible, real, practical. And for those of you who keep coming back for more, I love you so much. I know you know. And the more that we practice, the bigger and the bigger the impact is. So if you practice here today, day 1, if today is day 1 for this practice for you, then 40 days into the future, the implications of what we've done start to take shape. This is like a wave rolling in the ocean and coming to shore. It takes 40 days for all of that to happen. So the more you practice, the more momentum that wave creates. And then eventually we start to see the changes that we always wish for, the confidence, the security, the calmness, the wave of intelligence, of wisdom, of understanding that all comes through us. So that's my, I won't say promise, but that's what's going to happen here if you continue to practice. Okay. Um, so as you are coming in from this practice, please drop some comments. How was the experience for you? A few of you have commented already. You'd like to learn the archetypes. Amanda, I'll bring those to you in the next couple of weeks. We'll go through each of those archetypes and learn a little bit more of them. Hi from Turkey. Thank you. I love it. It's a beautiful practice from Amanda and from Jeremiah, just getting to the live. Okay, well, you have 24 hours to come back and take a look at this particular practice. After that, the replay is available in Harmony Within. That is my group mentoring program, a place where we get together and discuss all of these things live on Zoom, and then all of the core materials that you need in order to facilitate your Kundalini Yoga journey, very structured, very accountability tucked into that as well. And that's what's in Harmony Within. You want to teach this to other people. You want to take this forward and make it live so that you can embody the teachings and move it forward. That's Kundalini Yoga training. Okay. So without further ado, I have some questions I want to ask you. And these could be journaled. You can look at them later. You can answer here in the chat. I'd love for us to have a little bit of a dialogue here. So, which version of your inner child was most obvious to you today? Which age range? And what did you notice about how they looked, or what they were talking about, or what they offered you? So that's the first question. What did your inner child show you today? And what felt, number two, what felt nourishing or surprising about this experience of Kundalini Yoga, of combining it with a visualization? Let me take a look at your answers. Awesome, thank you. I'm working with some recovery friends through inner child work and felt a little bit stuck lately. Yeah, I think once we, thank you so much, Patricia, for offering that comment. I think it's true that in our healing journeys, we kind of get to a place where we're making steps, going a little bit forward, and then something seems to slow down or not quite let us beyond a certain kind of conscious awareness. And those are really good times to add in little changes. So that might be a calling for breath work. That might be a time to bring in mantra. This might be a time to bring in more connection with nature. Go out for walks, do a little bit of Kundalini Yoga if you've never done it before. Very dramatic shifts, especially in the early days. And those are the pieces that can help create more momentum. All right. Now, I want to just pause you there and just take a look at this pause or this feeling of stuck as an emergence. You know, kind of like a seed. When you put a seed into the ground, we in some ways have to have faith and trust that that seed is going to take. If we give them water, we give the seed some water and some plants, some soil, then we have to trust that it's going to actually grow. And so those sacred moments of pause are just that, is everything rooting and then starting to rise. So I want to not take away from the idea of, okay, I would like to keep moving forward, and at the same time acknowledging that the pause sometimes is a benefit so that we can actually integrate everything that we're learning. Okay, so hug your stuck, give it a little love, and ask it, how old are you? Where is this stuck place? Is it because I don't feel safe to move forward? Do we feel safe enough to move forward? Is there something else that I need? Is there something else that I'm missing? Or am I going too fast? Those are some good questions to loosen things up. Okay. From Patricia, visualization made me cry because when I saw the 5 kids, I felt like telling them that I'm not happy or where I want to be yet. but it was liberatory. I'd like to bring comfort to them. Right, right, because they're cheering you on in that interesting movement of time, is that we're all running parallel universes. And so those kids do want to know that you're good and that you figured something out, that you made it to this tall and this age. They want to know that. I love that for you. From Amanda, my 5-year-old self was very open, while 11-year-old self was more guarded. What a great noticing. And just think of all the things that are happening during childhood at that time. So my little one is 9, and there's a big difference between 5 and 9. Now all the pressure of being around other kids, some pushback against parents, a sense of the system that is operating around them. It's a moment to pause, right? It's a big difference. And so I think that 11-year-old is probably giving you some clues. It's a good thing to pay attention to. Okay, some more questions for you as we go through. What's one small way you can offer yourself safety after going through this experience and noticing what you've noticed? What does that inner self, that younger version of you, what do they need in order to feel safe? And then also, what do you need in the age that you are, in the body that you're in now? What is it that you need to feel safe? And if your younger self could speak freely, what would they be saying to you right now? What do you think they need you to know about where they are? Feel free to add your questions here in the chat or your answers here in the chat. I'm happy to answer. And remember that all of this work, there's one thing that I can offer you. All of this work takes some patience. It's never a one and done. I think of our healing journeys, our personal discoveries, our consciousness as an ellipsis, not a circle, not a diagonal, but rather an ellipsis. And that ellipsis means that we're going to see different aspects of ourselves from different perspectives, different angles, every single time we encounter a trigger, every time we encounter a different kind of challenge or a place where we feel triggered. And I think that's an important piece, because we're never the same person twice as we move through changes. And so again, a little bit more encouragement if you're feeling stuck. Please remember that this is part of becoming, is to notice where we are moving and when we don't feel like we're moving, and to pay attention to that. Nurturing, being compassionate, being soft and gentle. Even though we may not have good role models for how to do that, there's a way to turn towards ourselves and to offer what we never received. And I bet those of you who are parents who didn't have those supports when you were a child, you probably know how to take care of your kids. You probably know how to shower them with attention, or pay attention, or to apologize for the places where you weren't so great, or you didn't show them your best side. So remember that your inner child needs that from you too. I'll remind you of the 5 statements. You are enough. How you feel is okay. I admire you. I will protect you. And I believe you. And these 5 statements, I just rolled out a video, a reel on Instagram this week that was exactly about this particular part of speaking to your inner child. If you want to see that video, please head over to @YogaVision on Instagram, and you can check out that's the newest one that I posted this week. And for those of you who are continuing on with your Kundalini Yoga journey, remember that 40 days is a really powerful way to make an impact, a really powerful way to get started on a new habit, on cultivating your relationship with your authentic self. And that it really doesn't take hours and hours every single day. But if you can dedicate 5, 10, let's say 10 minutes even, 5 minutes even, you'll see great reward. And I say that to you with love and with an understanding that doing that is an act of courage, because change is going to happen. And allowing the change to happen is where the courage and the bravery takes place. Okay. So I'll leave the chat open for a few more seconds, see if anyone else wants to chime in here. It's always a delight. I'm here every Friday. And the idea of being here with you is to help answer questions, to show you what a guided experience is like, get a little closer, answer some questions. And I'm delighted to do that. So please do ask. From Patricia, I had to grow up too much too soon. I'm trying to rewire my brain with a slower pace. The year of Kundalini helped tremendously, but I sometimes start rushing again. So thank you for the reminder. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. I get it. We, in a Kundalini yoga practice, we'll have certain movements. Let me show you what some of those are. Okay. Let's say it's something simple like this. Now you can take this really quickly. Like, remember, you have to do it for 2 minutes. So whether you do it really fast or really slow is all about how you want to train your mind. Okay, so if really fast is how you do everything, then I encourage you, go slow. Nobody's watching. Nobody cares. This doesn't impact anybody, just you and your own brain. If you're used to going really slow on things, you take time, you're being a perfectionist, you really are not sure. And so you slow it down so that you can get all the details just right. Then I suggest you pick up the pace. And these are just very small ways that you can influence how you think with how you move. And that's why I think Kundalini Yoga is so good for dealing with trauma, is because we have these choices. We have internal patterns of fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And those feel like our nature. They feel somehow that this is my truth. But it's not true, because you can come into this environment and deliberately slow things down, deliberately speed things up, deliberately sit with something that's uncomfortable, deliberately allow yourself to be bored and not get up and not check your phone and do all the things. And so I want you to know that that's partly what makes Kundalini Yoga so effective for dealing with childhood stuff, all trauma of all kinds, but particularly childhood stuff, because that's our origin. That's the beginning of all this character building. I want to thank you for your openness and your honesty, everyone here today. Remember that this is going to be live for 24 hours, and then I'm going to tuck it into Harmony Within, and that becomes exclusive content over there. If you want to get access, starts at $22 a month for all the content that's there stored. That's specifically for your nervous system. And then if you feel a bigger calling to teach this to others, to have a process that you go through with accountability, structure, and a mentor, that's Kundalini Yoga training. I'm delighted to have you in either of those programs. Kundalini Yoga training changed my life completely. It's the reason I'm here in front of you. So guess which one if you love Kundalini Yoga, you can't go wrong with that. Okay, until we meet again, lots of love to you. And I'll keep on putting out videos. You just have to keep on watching and liking and sharing, and we have a match made in heaven. Until next time, everybody.